What does it take to build a leading AI company in a country known more for hardware than software? And how are businesses rethinking the way they use data, cloud, and intelligence? As the world doubles down on AI, how far can Taiwan go beyond supplying the chips? Well, Sega Cheng, CEO of iKala, joins us to talk about Taiwan's AI potential, digital transformation, and what it takes to successfully innovate. I'm Divya Gopalan, and this is Connected on TaiwanPlus. Sega Cheng is the co-founder and CEO of iKala, a Taiwan-based company offering AI-driven digital transformation and marketing solutions across Asia. Sega, great to have you here. Thank you very much for coming into our studios. You are our first ever studio guest.
Wow, well, thank you for having me today. The pleasure is mine.
Totally our pleasure, and I'm going to start with this. iKala started as an online karaoke platform, I believe.
Exactly.
How did you go from that to what you are now?
Well, that was just a rough idea, which I used to start this company, back in 2012. So that was almost 13 years ago. So initially, I just want to try, online video business startup, while covering short videos or live streaming, things like that, which are very common nowadays. But there were very few companies doing that. So when I left Google in 2012, I initially, jumped into this kind of business and tried that business for almost 3 years, before, admitting that, well, it was an epic fail. And then I pivoted to, the cloud business, offering the cloud services to B2B companies. So that's what I'm doing now. And the rest is history. Yeah.
Definitely history. Now, you're very much a proponent of what you call human-centered AI.
Yeah.
Can you explain what that is and what karaoke has got to do with it?
Okay, so basically, karaoke has nothing to do with it. Okay, so it was history, but I studied AI, 20 years back in Stanford, doing research in autonomous cars. So that was the kind of technology, help people, drive on the road more safely. Well, it's becoming more popular now. So I'm seeing that, okay, AI can be really used to help people, not just replace people. And so, of course, in Google, I was doing search, maps, that kind of, products for the whole world. And gradually we introduced AI and machine learning, into different software products, just to make it more easier to use and can help billions of people, around the world. So that's why in 2015, after the failure, of the online karaoke business, I started providing B2B cloud services and to our, enterprise customers. Well, this kind of, cloud service work really gave me a front row seat, of realizing that the power, of, unlocking the value of AI. So I think that the core idea is that going back to the basics, technology should really help humans, but not replace humans. That's the value, the core value of human-centered AI.
Right. I want to go take a bigger picture look now at what is happening in Taiwan's ecosystem. Now, you've said Taiwan doesn't really have an AI industry. You said that about a year ago.
Yeah.
Where do you stand now when it comes to that?
Okay. Well, the reason I said this is because Taiwan has always, have this dominant hardware sector, hardware companies, some of the best ones in the world, in the AI landscape. So for decades, so Taiwan has been, characterized, by project-based solutions or by contract work, in terms of software projects. So there was this prevalent, mindset that software is just an accessory, to the hardware industry. And it is treated as a cost center, rather than a value driver. And so, the mindset is still there. And so that's why I said, so there's not really an AI industry that comprises of strong product-oriented companies, strong VC ecosystems, or sustained investment in AI foundational research in Taiwan. I think these are the weak spots, I'm seeing now in Taiwan. So that's why I said, we are still, of course, we are still fighting, to build a very strong ecosystem around AI softwares.
Okay, so on that note, I want to take a look at some rankings here. If you've been following the news, you may have the impression that the US is ahead of the pack on AI. That can be seen in the Global AI Index from the UK-based news website Tortoise Media. The index looks at metrics in 3 categories: AI implementation, innovation, and investment. Taiwan ranks a respectable 21st, but lags behind the more advanced economies in Asia, which includes China, Singapore, South Korea, Japan, and Hong Kong. So what we can see, and perhaps maybe what your experience might tell you, the US seems to be one of the biggest innovators in AI, which often skews the results. Well, in particular, this graph there, the results in their favor. But how do others, like including Taiwan, compare? And if we're looking at in terms of R&D and academic research on AI?
Well, the U.S. is, of course, the undisputed leader, in terms of AI. So you can see that it outperforms basically every country in the world. And it's an obvious, a leader, in the AI industry. So, well, I think this is a result, of a virtuous cycle that the U.S. has been built up. So, well, that includes sustained investment in AI foundational research at top university. That's one of the key factors that drive these results. And the second one is, of course, a very strong VC ecosystem that is not afraid, of making high risk, high reward bets. Well, and the last one is, of course, the U.S. capability, to attract the best talents, from around the world. So these are the 3 pillars that really drive this result, that making U.S. the obvious leader, in AI in the world. And so, well, in terms of the academic research or in terms of the foundational research in AI, I think other countries should really play a different game. I mean, it's out of question that we try to outspend the U.S., in terms of R&D research. That's not feasible, and that would be too naive to do. But, well, take Taiwan, for example. We have a very strong, hardware industry. Even though our academic research is more aligned, with manufacturing and semicon industries, but there are also some top-notch, researchers here that we can do. And so, well, just focus on the strength of every country. I think every country is doing the same. Just focus on their strength in terms of, AI progression.
Right. At Computex this year in May, Nvidia announced that it had plans to set up headquarters in Taipei. What do you think that's going to do to Taiwan's current AI landscape, or perhaps even just, is it going to shake things up here, or are there also concerns now about competition, especially when it comes to human resources, which we're already struggling with?
Well, Taiwan is definitely in the global, under the global spotlight now. Because of Nvidia. So I think the headquarters of Nvidia in Taiwan, that would definitely help, attract more talents from around the world, especially AI talents, to come to Taiwan. Even attract some more, startup companies or other companies to follow suit. But of course, there's going to be fierce competition, for AI talents in Taiwan, which we are already aware of. So Nvidia is recruiting like crazy here in Taiwan, poaching, talents from TSMC or MediaTek. So yeah, I think all local Taiwan companies are facing fierce competition, from Nvidia's now.
And talking about Taiwan's kind of AI evolution, or the specifically the software AI companies here in Taiwan, you've said that they're essentially system integrators that don't scale globally or easily scale globally. Can you explain?
Well, if we compare the Eastern startup companies with the Western startup companies, so, well, the Westerns, they are more focused on, scaling the standard product horizontally and make it usable, by users around the world. Well, just take Google Search or Google Maps as an example. So it's a standard product. It is not customized, for anyone. It's just standard, and you use it on your phone, you use it on your laptop, and it can be used by anyone in the world. But in Asia, it's somehow it's very hard to do this kind of horizontally scalable products and offer them to users around the world. So I think that's because of the weak spots we just talked about, weak VC funding or weak software ecosystem. So that's why most of the startups in Asia, they are doing solution-based or project-based, work for big customers like, for the hardware industry, in Taiwan. So that's why software is treated as an accessory, just to these companies. And once you go into that growth model, it's really hard to replicate because you have to customize each project for every customer. So that's why it's not scalable, and that's will hurt the growth of your business.
iKala, on the other hand, has managed to, or is trying to be more scalable. You are expanding to other regions. Can you tell us which regions?
Yeah, so basically we are expanding to Japan, to US, and to Southeast Asia. That's the three focus regions we have for this year and years to come. So, the reason why we can scale our business to different countries is that, we put so much money, into doing a scalable product. That's a really hard thing to do because you have to have a sustainable funding, from investor. You have to tell a great story about what you are doing to investor to convince them to continuously, put money into your project. So, take one of the project, for example, Color, KOLR. So this is kind of project, so basically we collect all the social media data and all the influencer data and put them together into one data platform and make it discoverable, searchable, for marketers or brands or advertisers. So this kind of product we call software as a service, SaaS model, can be replicable, to different countries, includes Japan, US, and Southeast Asia.
Now, you might have already answered this with Color, but iKala prides itself at being at the center or being part of the integration of emerging trends. What is the next emerging trend you're looking at?
Wow, that's a very good question. I think in 3 to 5 years, AI is going to become very mature, that it becomes a part of your everyday life. So, it actually is. It is now, but it's going to go deeper into your everyday life and even your work. And AI is going to do a lot of work on behalf of you, and take actions for you. So that sounds a little creepy, but it's going to happen in 3 to 5 years. So, AI, I can say that in 3 to 5 years, AI will be developed. AI will be mature.
True. Like it or not, AI is here to stay. Companies or personally, it's something we're going to have to embrace.